Goring wakes up in the Vertical Self-Management Center. In his concrete cell, 48 is written on the wall. A bed, washbasin, and floor hole are his only necessities. His cellmate Trimagasi calls it the pit. Their floor is one of hundreds with 2 prisoners given fake names by management. Food descends through the hole daily on a platform. You have 2 minutes to eat as much as possible before it goes down. The lower you are, the less chances you have for eating anything. Every month at the end, the prisoners get shifted to a different floor. Goring doesn't eat when he first sees the platform because he's not hungry and would rather save his food for the lower floors. Trimagasi spits on the table after eating all he can. He knows that people above him definitely do the same thing. Goring chooses to save an apple for later, but the cell gets very hot after the platform leaves. Keep food for too long is against the law, so Goring needs to get rid of the apple or they'll die of heat. This makes Goring remember the interview he had to sign before he could enter the place. He had to agree that he couldn't leave until the agreed-upon period is over. Goring chose to bring a book of Don Quixote, because every prisoner can bring one thing with them. Goring chose to come here on his own, and he will stay for 6 months in exchange for an official certification. The next day, Goring doesn't eat when the platform comes, and Trimagasi feels that floor 48 is a waste of time for him. Trimagasi tells Goring that it all began with a TV ad when Goring asks him to tell his story. He bought a great knife after seeing it on TV, but a few days later, they put out a new ad for a superior knife. Because of this, he was so angry that he threw the TV out the window, hit a man and killing him. It was up to Trimagasi to choose between a mental hospital and the hole. He chose the hole. He's went as low as 132, but he knows there are more floors because he could see them below. Lower levels don't get anything to eat, and being there for a month isn't so bad. What's bad is when you get 2 lower levels in a row. This makes Goring scared, so he tries to ask the people on the other floors to share their food, but they don't listen. As an answer, Trimagasi pees into the lower floor. He also says that the thing he brought with him is the knife he ordered from TV. Goring starts to eat for sure the next time the platform comes by. He also sees someone from the higher levels fall through the hole. Trimagasi tells him that this happens all the time and no one does anything about it. Goring asks Trimagasi about all the floors he's been on, and he says they'll be together next month. Goring finally realizes it. Cellmates are kept together even when they are switched around. When Trimagasi was on the lower floors, he ate his former cellmate. Miharu is sitting on the platform when it comes by again. Goring is worried about her because he realizes that she is hurt, but Trimagasi tells him not to pay attention to her. Every month, Miharu goes down the hole to look for her missing child. She also kills every cellmate she comes in so that she has a better chance of being paired with her child in the following month. The man they saw falling was likely one of her victims. Then Trimagasi tells her that he has never killed anyone, he just ate a dead body that fell on his floor. As the platform moves into the next level, the prisoners try to use Miharu against them. Goring tells them to leave her alone, but she doesn't need to because Miharu kills them and goes back to the platform. The prisoners are put to sleep with gas and moved around at the end of the month. Goring wakes up on floor 171 and finds himself tied to his bed. He says he tied Goring up because he needs to protect himself since Goring is younger and stronger. From the other floors, you can hear people screaming as they get used to their new levels. When the platform comes, there's not even a crumbs left. Trimagasi finally says it's time for him to get some food after 8 days. Goring begged Trimagasi to stop, but he ignored him and used his knife to get some meat from Goring's thigh. But before he could eat it, the platform came along with Miharu. Miharu jumps on Trimagasi and attacks him with his knife, remembering Goring's concern. She frees Goring and gives him the knife to kill Trimagasi. After bandaging his leg with a bedsheet, Miharu eats Trimagasi. With a little hesitation, Goring accepts her meat and water before leaving on the platform without saying a word. Goring consumes worms as Trimagasi's body rots. Goring hallucinates Trimagasi's ghost judging him while eating. Gas invades the cell at the end of the month, and Goring dreamt about being with a woman again while Miharu stares. He finds out that who's licking him is a dog when he wakes up. Goring is shocked when he realizes that his new cellmate is Imogiri, the woman who interviewed him when he offered to go to jail. They are now on level 33 and she decided to bring the dog with her. Goring remembers the interview day and how Imogiri stopped in a creepy way between questions. Imogiri says in the present that she offered like Goring did and didn't know that people were dying here. Since she knows of 200 levels, Imogiri says that the quantity of food would be fine if everyone only ate what they needed. Goring says there isn't enough food for everyone here. It needs to be something that makes people feel like they belong together on the spot, but Goring thinks the idea is silly. He wonders if the death of a child could bring about change, but Imogiri is sure that the company doesn't hire people younger than 16 years old. When the platform brings them food, Imogiri only eats what she needs. She then gives some to her dog and starts making 2 meals. When the platform gets to the lower level, Imogiri tries to talk sense into the prisoners by telling them to eat the food she made for them and make 2 more for the next level to get their point out. She is obviously not being heard at all, and Goring says that the administration doesn't want solidarity to happen. Imogiri doesn't like that Goring thinks all management is bad because she worked for them and had no problems. Goring says that because she employed to work for them, she got to pick her cellmate. There is no giving up for Imogiri. Every day she tries to share the food, but the lower levels keep ignoring her. After 2 weeks, Goring finally gets sick of her yelling and tells the people that he will poop on the food every day if they don't follow Imogiri's instructions. The threat works, and the prisoners start sending messages to lower levels. After a while, the platform falls, leaving Miharu unconscious on it. While the dog steals food, Goring and Imogiri put her on a bed and watch over her. The cell gets very cold after the platform leaves, and Goring has to chase the dog to get back the food he stole before they are killed for breaking the rules. Goring gives Miharu the bed in the evening and goes to sleep on the floor. When he wakes up, the girls are fighting, and it turns out Miharu killed the dog to eat him. Miharu leaves on the platform the next day. Goring tells Imogiri that Miharu is looking for her child, but Imogiri says that Miharu came by herself 10 months ago. She is an actress who didn't have any family and also chose to come on her own. She sent people down here without realizing how bad it was, and she has been sick with cancer for 3 years. She came even though she knew she lost the fight because she thought she could make a difference, but she doesn't care anymore. Imogiri doesn't want to get out of bed on their last day on floor 33, so Goring tries to make her eat something because they might not have food tomorrow. Goring wakes up the next morning on floor 202, which means Imogiri didn't know there were more floors. The information was too much for Imogiri to handle, so she ended things with her bedsheets. Trimagasi's hallucination comes back at the right time, asking if Goring will consume his new friend. And this time, Imogiri and her dog are with him. She tells him he should eat her body. Goring does his best to ignore them as they talk non-stop. He also does other things to pass the time. He eats book pages to trick his stomach, and he uses a broken plate to start counting days on the wall. But eventually, Goring's hunger gets ahead of him, and he starts to eat Imogiri while Trimagasi shows him where to cut. Soon after, there is another shuffle, and Goring is happy to find that he is now on floor 6. Someone on the other bed is Miharu, and she runs at him with a knife. But it's all a dream. Goring's new cellmate is Baharat, whose item of choice was a rope. He asks the people on level 5 for help because he is very excited and thinks he can make it all the way to the top from here. The couple above him makes fun of him before get the rope. But as soon as Baharat starts to climb, one of the prisoners takes off her pants and poop on his face. Baharat let go of the rope and falls because he is shocked and upset. Goring catches him just in time, but the rope gets lost in the hole. They have to eat while listening to the prisoners on level 5 get wild when the platform comes. Trimagasi and Imogiri's hallucinations keep coming back as time goes on. Trimagasi tells Goring that he's doing great because he only has 1 month left, but Imogiri tells him that change doesn't just happen. This makes Goring want to make a plan, so he asks Baharat for help. They should use any weapon they can find to jump off the platform, and the food should be shared out so that everyone can eat. From how long it takes the platform to move, Goring did the math while he was on floor 202 and came up with the number 250. This should be possible. They agree to work together and break a bed so that they can use the metal pieces as weapons. They get on the platform together and go to level 7. There, Goring tells them they shouldn't let the prisoners grab anything. Everyone here ate yesterday and will eat again tomorrow, so they shouldn't start giving out food until level 50. That's when the trouble starts. Baharat isn't sure what to do because these prisoners are friends who helped him get to the top a few weeks ago. But when the old man gets angry, Baharat realizes Goring's point and starts helping him keep everyone out. Both of them keep going down while telling people not to touch the food. Bharat is surprised when he sees Brambang, an old wise guy he respects after a few floors. Brambang agrees with what the boys are trying to do, but he wants them to know that the administration doesn't care if they succeed, but the workers on level 0 might, which is why they need a queue. The panna cotta is what Bharat and Goring choose because it's a fancy dish that will make a big impression if it gets there whole. As they keep going down, their mission continues. They have to keep the panna cotta safe and scare people away with threats. When Bharat and Goring reach level 50, they start giving out food rations, and people are very thankful. On level 96, they find an old man who's sick and a boy who has mental problems. The boy tells them not to bother giving the old man soup because he'll kill the man later and eat him. In the next level, there is only a dead body. Goring thinks this is where Miharu woke up. There are no people on this level, so it doesn't end here. This means that Goring's math was off, and there are more than 250 floors. They find two men beating up Miharu on the next floor. When Goring and Bharat try to protect her, it is tough for them because one of them has a sword and the other is big and powerful. In the end, Bharat gets his guy and then helps Goring kill the big guy. But Miharu is already dead, so it's too late for them. Bharat pulls Goring back on the platform before it leaves them behind when he wants to mourn her. They keep going down and giving food to prisoners they see, even though many of the floors only have dead bodies on them. The platform finally stops at level 333, which looks like it's the last one. In the beginning, they believe it is empty, but someone is hiding under the bed, Molly, the missing child. The platform starts going down again as soon as Bharat and Goring leave it to talk to the kid. Bharat says no when Goring asks him to throw the panna cotta into the hole. Their surprise, the room doesn't get hot or cold to punish them. Bharat hesitates for a long time before giving Molly the panna cotta. That floor is where the three of them stay, and Goring keeps seeing Trimagasi, Imogwiri, and now Miharu. Suddenly, Bharat agrees with the ghosts and tells Goring that the girl is the message. When Goring wakes up, he finds that Bharat has died from his wounds. When the platform comes back the next time, Goring takes Molly with him. They are lowered to floor 0, which is dark and empty. It looks like Trimagasi tells Goring to leave the platform because he's not a part of the message. They watch the platform go up with Molly, hoping that she will tell the abusers above the truth of the situation. Thank you for coming, and don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next video.